Welcome to this episode of Little Did You Know Travel. My name is Damian Little, and I want to welcome you back to the capital of Poland, Warsaw. In this episode, we're going to take a look at two of my favorite things to do while visiting the city. Plus, we will check in to the most expensive hotel in all of Poland. All of that's coming up on this episode, part 2 in Warsaw of Little Did You Know Travel.
Well, here we are back, the old town, the old city walls. Definitely a cool spot, and it's getting right near dusk now, so getting a little dark, but man, I'm glad it dried out, so I at least had one more walk through the city, and look at that. Looks fake. It's real. But yeah, this city is just, like any of these old European cities, every kind of corner you turn, there's something else that's really cool. And look at this. It's like, let's go through the wall and see where it leads.
So walking around the city of Warsaw is very safe and easy. Everything's pretty compact in the old town area. And I did like my little stroll at night. Got a nice little look at some of the lights. And it was kind of a weird twilight. This was about 9 o'clock at night, a little bit earlier here. But just the colors of the buildings popping. And yeah, just a downright beautiful city. If you missed the first episode, part 1 of Warsaw, make sure you look in the description below for the link there. We talk about how the old town was completely demolished during World War II, and they used old photos, or paintings actually, to rebuild the old town almost exactly as it was before the war. And as the camera pans and that building with the curved corner shows on your screen, that's my hotel for the night. And I have watched this building get rebuilt over my past couple visits here to Warsaw. This is the most expensive hotel in all of Poland, the Raffles Europejski Hotel. We'll look at the suite I was upgraded to in a little bit, but let's talk about this building in particular. This hotel originally opened in 1857. That's right, 1857. It operated as a hotel up until it was destroyed in World War II. After the war, it was rebuilt and became a military boarding school, and then was a government building for years. In the early 60s, it reopened as a hotel and served as a hotel throughout the communist era in Warsaw. Little did I know, back in 2012, I would stand with this cheesy smile in front of what is today the new Hotel Europejski. And behind the facade of that building, there was major demolition going on, gutting the entire building. This amazing transition took over 10 years. And it's amazing the way the hotel looked in 2012 to boom, the way it looks today, the Hotel Europejski. Let's check it out. I didn't record the check-in process to respect the staff because it was a very intimate process. One-on-one, sitting down at a desk, very detailed, great service, greeted with a welcome drink and also a cold towel before giving my room key.
All right, so here I am, the Raffles, the most expensive hotel in Warsaw. I didn't pay for it. I used American Express points, and I booked it in the middle of the pandemic where the rates were lower than normal, but still expensive. So $327.
Now, if I was to ding the check-in process a bit, there was one thing that I expected to happen that didn't. And it's something I've experienced in other fine hotels around the world, like the Waldorf Astoria or Ritz-Carlton, where you're escorted to your room by the check-in agent. It can be a bit awkward because they give you a room tour and explain how the light switches work. So I have mixed feelings on that. However, I was surprised it didn't happen at this level of a hotel. I'm not sure if it didn't happen because of COVID or just staffing issues, but regardless. The check-in agent was great, told me about all my benefits as an American Express Platinum card holder, and the fact that I booked this hotel through the American Express Fine Hotel and Resorts program. We'll talk about how I did that and how I paid for this without using any money in a moment. One thing I did notice, in every public area of this hotel, everything was meticulously placed and just spotless. So much attention to detail here. It was very impressive. But you should expect that in a hotel like this. So here we are in my suite, or entering my suite. Let's take a look. And when I opened that door, I was like, ah, yes. My living room area here with a desk. You'll notice some interesting art on the wall there. We'll talk more about how this hotel is very focused on art. There's some interesting stuff around the hotel. Some goodies there on the table. We'll take a look at what's in this envelope in a minute as well. But one thing I do appreciate at check-in, The check-in agent told me in this area what was complimentary, which was the water, and what was part of the mini bar, which was the bottle of wine. It was a nice touch because I would have been afraid to touch the water because who knows how much that would have cost. Here we are in the bedroom, a very unique design, if you ask me. Behind that headboard was a wall of closets there. So the room was quite large, and the way they utilized all the usable space was quite impressive. A lot of storage in this bedroom. Well, here I am in my prestige suite. So when I booked with American Express Travel, I booked the kind of the entry-level executive suite. So this is I believe, one step up. I'm not sure the difference, but this is pretty darn nice. Huge room, huge sitting room, and yeah, just the finishings are high end. They're very classic. Raffles is an old brand. The original Raffles is in Singapore. And it's like an old, like royalty type of hotel. So it's a very small brand, and it's very difficult to find Raffles hotels. Now, this bathroom is pretty darn nice. Let's see here. What do we got here? This is the shower. Ooh. And we have very high-end amenities. Stuff probably I shouldn't be using. And double sinks. Beautiful tub, and I have a toilet room. The bathroom was so impressive, and as someone who likes to take hotel amenities, especially really nice ones, this suite provided so many amenities from toothbrushes, loofah, different types of soap, and bath salts. Unbelievable. Right outside the bathroom was this makeup dressing table. I'm not sure what it's called, but there was a beautiful view of the Warsaw skyline plus the tomb of the unknown soldier. And now we make the turn into the bedroom, and that bed was so comfortable, and those sheets so nice. Waking up to this view, oh, it was beautiful. Little cloudy on this afternoon, but the next morning when I woke up, it was nice. TV also mounted there, large TV, and that little headboard, that padded headboard, really insulated the sound. Not that the hotel was loud, but it was very quiet in that room. And the closets, there's a lot of it, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Those slippers, again, they're going to come home. If you need a shoe polishing kit, there's one as well. A drawer safe, which I really like, so you don't have to kind of do that sweep to make sure there's nothing in the back of the safe. Every amenity you could think of, from a shoehorn to what is this? This is a shoe mitt. I don't think my tennis shoes needed the shoe mitt, but that's fine. And there is a pillow menu as well. You can choose different types of pillows for your night's rest. I stuck with default because they were good enough. But yes, you call the butler, and the butler would bring your pillow. I should have done it. Maybe in my next stay, I'll do the pillow menu. And again, more closets, just a ridiculous amount of closets, very high-end robes, and just places to hang clothes, and yeah, more space than anyone would need in their house, let alone a hotel room for a few days. But man, it was a very comfortable sleep there. Again, here's that dressing table with a lighted mirror there to make sure you can get all your pores nice and clean. There's my magic camera I use. Look at that thing, so cool. But yeah, back into the sitting room area here. They provided this welcome gift here, some fruits, some cookies, and some other items, plus this nice little card welcoming me to the hotel, handwritten, which again is such a nice touch and costs the hotel absolutely nothing besides time. So I just like these little touches. So spot on there for great service. And yet another closet, this one for as a coat closet right as you enter the suite. The mini bar area, the coffee was complimentary, but everything in this drawer, there was a price list. The prices actually weren't crazy for a hotel, but man, look at these cups. High-end stuff, made in Germany, of course. But yeah, they have to be a pain to clean. So there's your K-cups and tea, which was complimentary. The wine bottle did have a price. There was a very classy little clipboard there with the prices. But yeah, just a well-appointed suite here. And if we go to the desk area here, a lot of stuff on this desk, a lot of information. There was a room service menu as well. And again, the prices weren't horrible, but they're a little higher. For example, that Polish aged beef fillet for 280 Polish zloty. That's about $60 for a good steak, but you can get hotels in Warsaw for less than $60. So, it is an expensive place. Some postcards there and a pen if you want to write a postcard and send it out. Let's take a look at what's in this very large envelope here. To be honest, I was a little more anxious of this would be something magical. But man, very high-end glue as well. I do have to give them credit for a nice quality envelope. So the piece of paper in this envelope outlines the benefits that I find as this hotel is an American Express Fine Hotel and Resort. So let's first talk about this Fine Hotels and Resorts collection, how it works, what you need to have to be able to take advantage of what I consider a very good perk. You must have the American Express Platinum card. Now this card is fairly expensive. I think it's worth it because I travel a lot and you have to know that you will use these perks. And this is a great example. For a bunch more details about the AMEX Platinum, I did a video previously. I'll put the link in the description below if you want to watch and learn more about travel credit cards. And the Platinum card is covered pretty thoroughly in that video. So I picked some random dates for this hotel. I picked November, just a one-night stay on a random Thursday, okay? You can see the rate that pops up, $279 or 27,938 Amex points. Now, this is not the best way to use your American Express points. If you want to, it's a free stay. You'll wipe out a bunch of points, but some people think it's worth it. We'll talk more about that in upcoming videos on how these points are valued, but either way here. But there's a couple perks you need to know. As an Amex Platinum card holder, once a year, you get a $200 statement credit when you book a Fine Hotel and Resorts hotel through the American Express travel portal. That's just right off the charge. So like this example here from our friends at the Points Guy, he booked something for $296, got a $200 credit. He paid $96 for that hotel. In our example here, it would be $79 for this fantastic hotel. Now, this is a standard room. Okay, so you can use points to cover that partial $79 if you wanted, or you just pay $79 out of your pocket. There's more perks you get when you have the Amex Platinum and you stay at this hotel. You get a room upgrade upon availability when you arrive. I've had very good luck with this. You get daily breakfast for 2 people. This isn't like a muffin and a coffee. This is a full breakfast that at some of these hotels could be $50, $60 a head. This is a great perk. A guaranteed, no matter what, you don't check out to 4 p.m. when you check out this hotel. Again, great perk for when you're just stumbling around a city for a quick visit. The one I like, and I've had pretty good success on this, a noon check-in when available. Getting access to your hotel early in the day, I love it. That is a perk as well. Free Wi-Fi, you might use it. I don't a lot anymore with data plans. And this is the one I really like. So experience credit. Different hotels have different credit. This one, for example, gives $100 food and beverage credit to use for your entire stay. Even if your stay's one night, you get $100. If your stay's a week, you get $100 in credit. So you can see how the value can change here. So you could book this hotel with your American Express Platinum, get your $200 yearly credit, pay $79 for the night. You're going to get free breakfast, late check-in and check-out, plus $100 in food and beverage credit. That is pretty darn amazing. And yeah, it's an amazing card and amazing perks through this collection of hotels. I know a lot of people always ask, if I use all my points to book this stay, do I still get these perks? Absolutely. And when we talk about that special credit, right, that $100 that hotel provides, again, once per stay. The stay can be a one-night stay. So in Warsaw, for example, there is another Fine Hotel and Resort collection property literally across the street. It's called the Hotel Bristol, also a very nice hotel. I have a stay booked in November, so I will share my stay at that hotel, and actually the Raffles, I'm staying back to back. Why would I change hotels? I'm going to get $100 food and beverage credit at each property. So that is just something to keep in mind. And you know, that rate again isn't bad for that hotel across the street, $198 or 19,000 points. And you'll look here, $100 food and bev credit there as well. So if you want to see this hotel coming up probably later this winter, there'll be a video there when I return to Warsaw in November of this year. So let's continue our look at this hotel, and we're going to head downstairs. And just walking toward the elevator, I just noticed again how fantastically clean and everything is perfect in the common areas of this hotel. A very clean elevator. An elevator even has its own carpet, which I saw the guy vacuuming like 3 times during my stay. It's amazing how clean this elevator is. And down in the lobby area here, and this is like a second bank of elevators, so there's multiple elevator banks in this hotel. And around the corner here, we head down to the restaurant and also the long bar. You'll notice a lot of art in this hotel. You can actually take a free tour if you're a guest of the hotel of all the art throughout the building, either historical photos or more of the modern touches of the building itself that ties that old and new to make this kind of harmony of just coolness. And I like in even some of the rooms, they have pictures of the hotel like from 2005. And even technically the carpet is a piece of art because an artist was acquired to design it. So I have $100 food and beverage credit to spend, so let's head into the long bar and get some drinks and something to eat. Have you ever been in a place and you felt like, you know what, I don't belong here, it's too nice? Well, that's how I felt in this place because it was so classy, the staff was amazing, and the bartender who waited on me after I told him I was a fan of vodka also got a little excited because he was a vodka specialist. He suggested that cocktail for me, which was quite decent, and then handed me the menu of all the different vodkas that they had. He pointed out the Russian vodkas that weren't available due to the conflict in Ukraine, and he also offered to give me a history of unique vodkas. Show me the bottle. Let me taste a little bit of it. I learned so much from this bartender about vodka, which I am a self-prescribed Polish vodka connoisseur. It was such a cool experience to learn about the art of spirit making and the deep history with vodka in Poland. Even after drinking a lot of vodka, I still had some credit left, so I ordered this burger, and boy was it good. I'm happy to report I successfully spent the $100 food and beverage credit in the long bar, a great place to hang out, and I was surprised how far my $100 got. This is the most expensive hotel in Poland, but I do say the prices in the restaurant and bar were quite fair. And for the experience, definitely worth it. I attempted to film in the spa, however, there were naked people around, so I decided against it. There's an underground pool, an amazing facility. If you like a spa, this place got you covered. When I woke up the next morning, looked out my window, this gorgeous view with no rain and no clouds in the sky, I decided to get an early start and head down to breakfast. I was an early bird, and I was the first one to arrive at breakfast. I was sat at this table with the great view. The whole restaurant was mine. Every member of staff was so attentive and helpful. I was informed I could take something off the buffet or anything I wanted, and then I could order off a menu for anything I wanted made to order. The selection was great and fresh, and it was so good. As I was waiting for my eggs and bacon to arrive, I was provided this orange juice, and I saw them squeezing it by hand with a machine, but still amazing juice. So eggs on a piece of Polish bread with a whole pile of bacon. It was all fantastic. The best part, though, was this fresh ground pepper and salt at the table. I don't know. It was cool and really added to the eggs. So you can kind of see why this is the most expensive hotel in all of Poland. And for Warsaw, it's also really expensive. But it's not ridiculous on the world stage of fine hotels. If not, I might argue that this hotel is super great in service, accommodations, and location. And the price, yeah, it's expensive for Poland, but in the grand scheme of things, it is kind of a bargain. And because I booked with the American Express Fine Hotels and Resorts, the perks I get are really valuable. And I really enjoyed my stay, and I'm going back in November. And this is actual footage from November of 2007, my first visit to Warsaw. And yeah, that's right, 15 years later this November, I'm returning to a city that I have watched grow and change over my many visits over those 15 years. And I learned a lot about the city in my many visits. From the dark history, as we talked about in part 1 of Warsaw, where the whole old town was completely destroyed and rebuilt after the war, but more importantly, the events that happened during World War II, like the Jewish ghetto, The Warsaw Uprising, how the people of Warsaw stood up and fought against the Nazis to save their city. And also then communism happened. There's two things I want to tell you about before we end this video that you must do on your visit to Warsaw. As the Nazis took over the city of Warsaw, Jewish people were moved into what was referred to as the Jewish ghetto, an area of the city that increasingly got smaller and smaller as people were trained off to concentration camps like Auschwitz and Buchenwald and ones throughout the region. On my first trip back in 2007, you could visit the area that was the old Jewish ghetto, and the actual buildings that remained were still there. It was very powerful. And it's what kind of got me interested in that portion of history in the city of Warsaw. And now today, it's very hard to find remnants of these old buildings that were part of the ghetto. You can still see some remnants of them around, and as the redevelopment process takes, some of these modern buildings are incorporating the facade of the old buildings. But for me, it's really eerie to walk around these streets that once felt like you could smell death still. But today they're surrounded by modern skyscrapers. Back in 2007, tourists were able to visit the Jewish cemetery in Warsaw, and I still remember vividly looking at the dates of the tombstones, where mass numbers of people all died within a short period of time. I shouldn't say died, they were murdered. And it was a very powerful visit. And unfortunately, the graveyard has become so far in disrepair that it is closed to the public now. But man, I will never forget this visit. And again, this is just one of those things that made me so obsessed with the history of Warsaw. But luckily today, there is the Warsaw Uprising Museum that is a must-see if you're visiting Warsaw. To me, it's one of the best, if not the best, World War II museum that covered this period of time in Warsaw, when the Jewish people were placed in the ghetto, trained off to concentration camps, murdered in the streets. And the local residents of Warsaw saw this. The Polish people were kept on the other side of a fence from the Jewish people, and they saw them being murdered or their bodies being dragged down the street. And as they saw the Nazis taking over their countries, the people of Poland said, "We're not taking this." And they uprose against the Nazis. And this museum covers how that happened, the brutal fight, the number of lives that were lost is astonishing. So this museum is definitely a must visit. If you are interested more about the uprising in Warsaw, I recommend this film, Warsaw 44. It is all in Polish with subtitles. It's available to stream in the US for free on different platforms. It is a great movie. You forget you're reading subtitles. And two other more well-known movies are Uprising and The Pianist. And there's one more thing I want to tell you about in Warsaw, is this company called Adventure Warsaw that offers a tour called Off the Beaten Path. And they drive you around in an old communist bus. The tour guides are very knowledgeable. You really go into these hidden parts of Warsaw you would never think about visiting. Very focused on the communist era in Warsaw.
You really want to believe in that system when you listen to those songs.
I've taken this tour a few times, and a few years ago, there I am with that really old phone enjoying this tour in Warsaw. I put a link in the description below so you can find out more about what tours are offered by Adventure Warsaw. I've enjoyed all of my tours. Locally owned company, definitely got my recommendation. Well, thanks for traveling with me to Warsaw today for part 2 of this trip to Warsaw. If you haven't checked out part 1, there's a link in the description below. Help out this channel, please hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and also leave some comments. Thanks for watching this episode of Little Did You Know Travel. We'll see you next time.